The New York Attorney General, LETITIA James, made waves before she was officially sworn in. But those waves, as predicted, appeared to be crashing down on her. Recall that James was not in the least bit indirect about her intentions regarding the Trump family once she became Attorney General. Now, this is so important. I'm going to read a quote here from her because look back at let's say the mafia, let's say organized crime, and you look at any prosecutor. You look going back 30 plus 40 years with Rudy Giuliani with organized crime, or any prosecutor, any DA, any attorney general, when talking about certain organized crime or even unorganized crime, just random crime with murder rates or things like this. And you have people that are campaigning to be elected attorney general or a district attorney. And certainly they campaign on, I'm going to go after this type of behavior. I'm going to go after this organized crime. I'm going to make sure that we are prosecuting people who violate XYZ to the fullest extent of the law. That's totally appropriate. You should be saying what your policy is going to be. But what you cannot do in an ethical sense is to say, I'm going to prosecute someone for a crime with which they have not been charged. That is a case of finding an individual and then finding a violation with which to charge them after the fact. And this is exactly what LETITIA James did. So this is before she was sworn in as Attorney General. I'm going to quote her. We will use every area of the law to investigate President Trump and his business transactions and that of his family as well, she said in an interview with NBC News. We want to investigate anyone in his orbit who has, in fact, violated the law. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I never went to law school, but I think that any 10-year-old, if they read this, will realize how absurd, dangerous, unfair, unprofessional, and unethical this is, especially the last sentence. We want to investigate anyone in his orbit who has, in fact, violated the law. Did you hear that? In other words, we want to investigate to find out if someone violated the law. How do you know in fact someone violated the law unless you investigate them?
So she said
unless
this. Sorry, Mark. She said this before she became the Attorney General?
Before she was sworn in. She may have been elected, but says before she was sworn in. In other words, it's a great question, Anthony, because she wasn't sworn in yet, so she didn't have any information, at least legally at that point, officially, to indicate that Donald Trump may or may not have violated any law.